Hello. Welcome, everyone. Can everyone hear me? My name is Mary Demas, and I am a Sustainable Transportation Program Coordinator for the town of Oakville, and I'm here today to host this session of Ontario bike tourism. Today, our presenter will be Louisa Mersel, Executive Director of Transportation Options. Next slide, please. So just so everybody knows, this webinar will be recorded and uploaded onto the SmartCommute.ca website. For those of you that are not familiar with Smart Commute is a Greater Toronto and Hamilton area, cities of Greater Sudbury, London, and Bruce County program. And what we try to do is we try to help individuals and organizations in various communities travel effectively and sustainably with sustainable modes of travel. We hope that this benefits the community and reduces congestion, improves people's health, as well as that takes action on climate change. And in order to achieve this program has a variety of tools. We also have an app whereby you can download for free. And these resources support and incentivize cycling, walking, carpooling, and transit as easy ways and convenient ways to get around. Smart Commute's customized programming for communities, workplaces can improve their employees' commutes and general community commutes, reduces parking challenges, and increases travel options. As I mentioned before, we have an app called the Smart Commute app, which offers various services as emergency ride home if you sign up to the app. And to the program in general. We have our campaigns, 3 major campaigns throughout the year: Winter Commute Month in February, Bike Month that we're in at the moment in June, and we have Smart Commute Month, generally geared towards employers that have signed up to the program in September. We also have a carpooling platform on our app, a cycling program, and commuter assessments for membership to the program. Next slide, please. I think that we've gone through this. Oh, so sorry, just again, we're going to have some pre-webinar questions. Jesse, if you can kindly put those up onto their chat box for everybody.
They should be up now.
Great, excellent. And as we're doing those, I'm going to ask Louisa Mersel to start introducing herself into the webinar, and then we'll be concluding that and going forward. Just to remind everybody that there is going to be a draw for a $50 gift card, and that draw is only for people who are with us for the first 20 minutes at least. So please do stick around to be able to be part of that draw.
Great. Thanks so much, Mary. And let me just get my screen here ready for you guys. So is everything looking good, Mary? Daryl, can you just confirm that for me, please, verbally?
It indeed
yes,
is.
it looks good.
Looks good.
Okay. Great. I'm so glad to be here today. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of the Smart Commute webinar series and a part of Bike Month. You can't quite see it. I am wearing my Bike Month shirt. I did participate in Bike to Work Day, which was super fun at the beginning of the month. And hopefully everybody else has been celebrating and doing some extra riding to work or riding to wherever they have to be. But we're here today to talk to you about cycle tourism, how you can bring your bike and enjoy a holiday or an outing as part of your holiday or a day trip cycling in Ontario. And we're also keen to tell you a little bit more about our programming and what we do. So as Mary mentioned, my name is Louisa Mersel. I'm the Executive Director of Ontario by Bike, which is run by Transportation Options. So I am the Executive Director of Transportation Options, a not-for-profit organization that runs the Ontario by Bike program. So we have quite a lot of great information to share with you today, and an agenda, and that will be followed by hearing some more from Mary and Daryl about the Smart Commute programming. So if you're not already familiar about Ontario by Bike and you've never been to our website, you're a cyclist, I invite you to make use of that. What we try to do is we work with industry partners and we work with cyclists. So we have information for both of them. For the industry partners, we're trying to develop and promote cycle tourism into something bigger here in Ontario. And we're doing that also with a network of bicycle-friendly businesses. And for the cyclists, we are trying to get information to you to provide you some resources for planning your next great cycling ride, trip, whatever that is, and inspire you to get out and explore more of Ontario by bike, plus visit those bicycle-friendly businesses to eat, visit, and sleep at. So those are our websites. And just in a nutshell and a pretty picture, our programming, we do have a network of over 1,700 businesses that are certified as bicycle friendly. We work and host a lot of industry workshops and operator training, webinars, and such. We do consulting to help develop cycling products in different regions across Ontario. We do a lot of research as well, so that's all for the industry side. And then for cyclists, we go to lots of shows and events. Perhaps we met at one of those before. We publish our annual magazine. We have this huge website with all kinds of resources that you want. We also host small group bike ride tours throughout the summer season as well, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in a while. So as mentioned, we are a not-for-profit organization. We've been around for over 30 years working on sustainable transportation and sustainable tourism types of programming. So we began our programming to do with cycling in 2007 when we started the Bike Train Initiative, which was to increase bike transportation for cyclists between Toronto and Niagara, and that expanded to include other destinations where Via Rail traveled to, and then was taken over by GO Train as we saw the service expand between Toronto and Niagara Falls using GO Train, and bikes are able to travel on that line very easily. So throughout the years, we've grown cycle tourism, noticing that there was a need to incorporate businesses and promote the businesses in different destinations that were welcoming cyclists, and to teach businesses how to welcome cyclists, what certain needs were that cyclists were looking for when going to different locations. So we do certify businesses as bicycle friendly, and it depends on the business category. They have to meet criteria, which I'll give you a brief overview of shortly. As far as the number of businesses and the breakdown, it's about largest number is accommodations, followed by cafes and restaurants and attractions, and it breaks down from there. So over the years, since we started our programming, the number of businesses has certainly grown as different regions were added to our programming. And now just about every single region in Ontario is a part of the Ontario by Bike network. What is cycle tourism? Well, you might not be familiar yet with what cycle tourism is, but if you are a cyclist, you're likely doing one of these types of activities. You might be doing what we call destination riding. That's visiting a destination for an overnight stay and riding out from there, coming back to your same type of accommodation overnight. You could be a touring type of cycle tourists. So those are independent folks traveling on multiple day trips. They might have a self-support vehicle with them, following them, or they could be fully independent travelers carrying everything they need for their ride. There's also people that go on events and tours traveling. So they could be saying going to a charity event in a different destination in Ontario, or there could just be people doing day rides or urban cycling. So going to visit, say, London, Ontario for an afternoon. Maybe they live not too far from there and then returning home that evening. So typically cycle tourists are traveling more than 40 kilometers from where they live, They might be a leisure and family type cyclists, which would be exclusive to riding off-road super safe cycling infrastructure. Maybe 10, 15, 20 kilometers is great for a day's outing. There's recreational cyclists who can ride maybe on some quieter roads, don't mind being off the trails a little bit, and maybe cycling up to 50, 60 kilometers in one outing. And touring experienced cyclists, they could be doing 120 kilometers even before lunch is ready. Generally riding more expensive types of bicycles, wearing lycra type of outfits, shorts and tops, so pretty easy to spot those folks. There's also the race and competitive type of cyclists, so folks that are participating in those type of events. And there's a huge contingent of mountain bikers, very, very popular. Gravel road cycling is a new phenomena, and people that are using fat tire bikes to go on winter snow, and those are also really good for summer sand as well. So we've done some studies to learn a little bit more and a little deeper into who are Ontario cyclists. So perhaps some of you fit into these categories that are more prominent. We found from our most recent survey in 2025 that about 45% of cyclists, the largest majority, are between 45 and 64 years of age. So generally a pretty even split between male and female. This particular survey was a little bit more skewed to slightly more males. And a lot of people are cycling for recreational purposes. Also, good news for Smart Commute folks is that Ontario cyclists do tend to ride a lot in the shoulder seasons, which would be fall and spring, as well as year-round. What was interesting about our study that we just completed and just published this year, even though the data is from last year, is that for the first time ever, we're seeing Ontario cyclists prefer off-road trails, slightly larger and in more prevalence than paved roads. So that's great news for the investment into trails and supports all that work that is being done to make our trail systems better across Ontario. Followed by road cycling, is followed by gravel road cycling and mountain biking, and quite a few people were keen on the fat biking as well. So preferred daily distance is between 46 and 99 kilometers. 53% prefer that. And we're seeing a lot of information about e-bikes, and I'll touch on that in a little while as well. But we are seeing an increase in the number of people that own one or more e-bikes in their household. It's now at 28%. It's moved up from 22% and 17% when we've done previous surveys. And additionally, 16% are thinking of purchasing one in the near future. As far as travel that included cycling in 2025, 52% did one or more overnight cycling trips that included cycling, and 65% did 3 or more day trips in Ontario. Where are people finding out the information to plan their trips? And perhaps all of this is information that you find yourself doing in your own planning of cycling trips, or perhaps in the future you will be. So when you're looking for a type of trip for cycling, the most trusted source often for any type of travel is recommendations from friends and family. So you're going to take their word well over something that you might read randomly on some post somewhere online. But that's not to say that websites are used. They're very frequently to plan cycling trips as well as digital maps. And people really still like print cycling maps. We see that when we go to shows and events. And with our Ontario Cycle Tourism Centre, people are keen to use those print cycling maps for planning their trips when traveling in Ontario. Once on the road or at their destination or going for that bike ride, wherever that might be, smartphone apps are very prominently used, such as Ride with GPS is very popular right now. Strava, following Strava routes is popular. just Google Maps is very useful, and GPS units. And some destinations have wayfinding signage, or some routes have signs to direct you in the right direction as well. So when looking for destinations to visit with your bike, there's a lot of different pieces that go into making a great destination, and no one destination is the same as the other, which makes it so wonderful to visit and explore all different places around Ontario by bike. But there's different combinations of the infrastructure that's available, the different types of services that are bicycle friendly, different types of information that you could be getting, and alternative ways to get there by different transportation modes. And also, there's a lot of partners that are at these destinations that support the growth of cycle tourism and welcome cyclists to their community through the work that they are doing. So we have some data too. If you are on the industry side of cycling, and some folks that do like some numbers, it does help to substantiate why cycle tourism is important and why welcome cyclists with some data. So cycle tourism in Ontario is a valuable part of the tourism sector. About 1.5 million cycling visits happen in Ontario. And this is just domestic data. So what that means is just the Canadian visitors and Ontario visitors. It doesn't include the people who came from international destinations and cycled in Ontario. So these domestic visitors, they spent $532 million while doing cycling visits in Ontario. And that's very important, supporting our local economy. The largest categories where they're spending is usually on accommodations, food and beverage, followed by transportation. And all our partners love to hear this great news is cycle tourists spend more and stay longer. So this gives us more rationale to promote cycling and cycle tourism. They're spending, cycle tourists, more money than non-cycling type of visitors and staying longer. So 69% of cycling visits were actually overnight compared with 36% of non-cycling visits. We've also collected some data to show the impact on businesses. So our partners and the businesses that are part of our program can see that a large majority of cyclists prefer to stay in hotels, and they are spending significant amount of money on their accommodations per night. Other spends and impacts on the tourism industry are on the food and beverage categories, attractions, entertainments, and other activities, plus retail shopping. So what we do tell everybody is cycle tourists don't just cycle. They're there in different destinations, and you, if as cyclists can probably attest to this as well, besides riding your bike, it's great to visit museums, cultural sites, maybe take in some of the local culinary delights, or visit some local craft breweries or wineries, perhaps going to the beach, participating in other outdoor activities, or taking in the arts and doing a studio tour in local areas. So there's generally lots of other activities that are built around any type of cycling outing, whether it's day or multi-day trips. So we're trying to encourage more businesses to become bicycle friendly, and we have lots of resources to do that. And we found from both our surveys that we've done recently for businesses and for cyclists that being a part of the Ontario by Bike network of certified bicycle friendly businesses is really showing that it's beneficial to both the businesses, and also for cyclists are making use of our programming. So being a bicycle-friendly business, if there's any business operators on this webinar today, or if we can invite you to share this information further with businesses that you might interact with, or that you know should be certified as bicycle-friendly because they welcome you whenever you stop by. We have categories that of tourism type of businesses that can be certified. So that goes from accommodations, campgrounds, food service providers, that would be cafes, restaurants, delis with takeout type of services, tourist attractions, that could be museums, art galleries, business areas. So that is a higher level type of certification for BIAs. And of course, cycling related businesses and organizations such as bike tour operators, bike stores, they can all be certified for free with the Ontario by Bike Network if they meet the certification criteria for each category. So it's quite simple to do this online and add your business and create an account. So the criteria for each type of category ranges, and we'll review those shortly, but it is available online, the full criteria for each type of category. So easy to do online. Check the criteria, go to the registration, make a login, and we have a whole tab on our website just for industry partners and businesses to look through. So there's definitely lots of benefits for those businesses to be a part of our programming. Information about their location gets out a lot further through a number of our different marketing and promotional outlets. So just to review quickly with you what some of the certification criteria are for each different category, accommodations has got the most stringent, higher level type of requirements. Folks need to be assured that there's covered and secure overnight bike storage. So nobody wants to go stay in a hotel and have to leave their bike on the back of their car on the bike rack or lock it up outside. You want to make sure when you're up in the morning, you have your bike easy to access and can get away on your cycling trip. Also for accommodations, they need to have a basic bicycle repair tool set, which looks something like this, just in case there's no bike store nearby or the cyclists themselves are not carrying those items. And we will say that e-bikes are becoming more prevalent, so more and more folks are looking for charging access points that can be used at their accommodations. Campgrounds have the same requirements for accommodations. They're also one of the suggested criteria are to have a separate zone for guests with tents. So tent campers tend to prefer being a little bit away from those giant RVs who might have a humming generator going all night. Food services, so your cafes and restaurants need to be able to provide a secure daytime lockup area, whether that's against the railing on a patio or out front where it's visible for cyclists who are visiting the location to be able to watch their bike while they're enjoying some food and beverage. Tourist attractions, again, need to have a secure lockup area, and if possible, give access to washrooms and rest areas and water for folks that are visiting the attraction or just stopping by without having to pay entry. There's the criteria for the business areas, a little bit more complicated, and we work with those business areas who want to become certified. There are quite a number that are across Ontario. And for bike parking, well, there's all different forms of bike parking. I'm sure you see it where you live and where your place of business is. There's definitely a large variety, and some are more secure for longer term parking versus some where you're just dropping in and dropping by or for events. So once again, easy to register business locations online, and we empower you to share this information with the businesses that you know. We have a lot of resources. Just get in touch if that is a piece that you're interested in learning more about. So here's some tips for touring and any cycling type of adventure. Switching over more, less from the industry side, more to the cyclist part. So if you're a keen cyclist or just getting started, here's some information that could set you on your way this summer. So some of these might be very obvious and some might not. Always check your bike before you're heading out, pump your tires. Always wear a helmet and make sure that helmet's not out of date. I recently caught my father wearing a very old helmet and was happy to buy him a new one. You should change that every 3 to 5 years. Styrofoam and head protecting parts within a helmet can wear over a number of years. Always good to wear appropriate clothing, something that's safe, something that's cool or fitting for the temperatures or the elements. Take a bike lock. Bike security is super important. Bring water and snacks. Often a good idea to tell someone where you're going if you're heading out by yourself, and carry some ID in your pouch or in your pannier. And a phone is always useful for, of course, many different reasons. Sun protection and bug spray should also be considered, and ride safe. Here's just a little thing to jumpstart you on carrying water. So you can carry a water bottle in a water holder that's affixed to your bike quite easily. And they recommend about 1 liter per hour is required in the warmer weather times of the year. So if you're thinking about getting into bike touring and you've never done it before, here's some additional tips. So road bike day trips, you might want to consider taking lights and brights, what we call. So a lot of cyclists now are putting on their bikes lights in the daytime. So that would be a front light, which is white, and a rear light, which is red. We're also seeing a number of riders that come on our tour using bike radar. So these are attached to the back of your bike and will give you a little beeping noise and tell you that a car is approaching from behind. Of course, if you're on any type of trip, making sure that you take the appropriate water or drinks and enough snacks and energy bars or whatever you need before you get to your next rest stop. Tools are always a great idea to carry. So when I go riding, I usually carry a bag with everything that I need. And of course, if I run into somebody that is having some trouble on the trail or the road, it's great to be able to stop and extend a little help to them as well. So some additional things you might want to consider if you don't already own some padded cycling shorts that can make or break one of your trips, especially if you're new to cycling. Also consider how and what you would need on your little day trip or on your longer multi-day trip. And there's a different type of bag for every type of scenario and every amount of supplies that you want to carry. For multi-day trips, a lot of people like what they call bike packing. So for that, folks generally are camping and carrying everything they need on their bikes. So that would be lightweight tents, sleeping pads, sleeping bags, a single burner stove with cooking equipment. Some larger panniers are needed for that, and to be able to attach things safely to the bike, the back racks. And there's a million type of bags, as previously mentioned, that can assist with that and different setups. What I personally like to do, because I don't own lightweight tents and sleeping bags and don't want to load down my bike, is credit card travel. So staying in roofed accommodations, going from one hotel to another, or B&B to one B&B to another. Bikes will be lighter because you don't have to carry as much stuff, and it's just a little bit more convenient. And for my style, staying overnight and having a nice shower at the end of the day is another option that you might want to consider for your multi-day trips. So I said that we're going to talk a little bit about e-bikes because I know these are growing in popularity. So the e-bike definition, it can vary depending on the province, but in Ontario, an e-bike is a power-assisted bicycle with an electric motor that has a handlebar for steering, working pedals, 2 or 3 wheels, electric motor, braking system, and has a maximum speed and a maximum weight. So there's all types of bikes come as e-bikes now. So you can get hybrid bikes, you can get fat tire bikes, cruiser bikes, mountain bikes, gravel bikes, cargo bikes. All types of bikes now come with an e-bike version. There's a lot of benefits to using an e-bike. You can travel further distances. You can reduce your trips made by car and have more active transportation. You can have an active holiday with an e-bike, and there's definitely less pollution emitted by an e-bike than vehicles. You can enjoy the exercise that it brings. E-bikes, you still are pedaling to get them going and getting that type of exercise. And what we found is that it's a great way for people that might be riding with a group of friends or family, and one person is a more avid cyclist and able to go further. So it helps even the playing field and get folks out riding with their friends and family that might usually go at a different pace. So in Canada and in Ontario specifically, some of you might have seen it. There is some consultation happening now about e-bikes and classifications. It's currently all regulated by the municipal governments, and they're trying to move that up to the provincial level, if not Canada level, needs to have the same regulations across the board, and it shouldn't just be for the municipalities to decide because it is quite a large issue on regulating e-bikes. But in general, e-bikes are like bicycles, and they are subject to the Ontario Highway Traffic Act and considered a vehicle. So just like a car or truck, all bicycles and e-bikes have to obey the traffic laws, and they have the same rights and responsibilities as drivers. There's some additional etiquette, though, to riding an e-bike. So you do need to adhere to the same rules as other folks on the trails, other cyclists. We do suggest that before you buy an e-bike, you practice riding one. Some e-bikes are a lot heavier than you might be used to. So if you are not used to that type of weight, it could be easy to drop the bike when you're riding, and hopefully by practicing and trying an e-bike beforehand, you can make it a safer ride experience for yourself. You do need to take care of the battery, so making sure that's stored properly. And also bike racks are a consideration. So if you are taking an e-bike somewhere on your travels, you need to check that your bike rack is up to snuff and can carry the extra weight of your e-bike safely. And also, as always, you need to be respectful to other riders. So you're not laughing at them as you're zooming up a hill, for instance, on your e-bike, and they're left pedaling and struggling and a little slower than you. So we have lots of information on where to ride e-bikes and where to rent some e-bikes. So there's some great trails and a web page that can provide you with that type of information on how to piece those two pieces together. So want to leave you and give you a few more tips and insider scoop on where to find your next great ride destination. And some of these destinations you might already have explored by bike, but hopefully some of these are new to you, and you can always use our website to find more. So finding your next great ride depends what type of cyclist you are and what type of roads or trails and activity you want to do. So some destinations that we've been working with recently that have some great cycling include Northumberland County. So that's just east of the GTA, east of Durham region. They have 5 signed loops on road, 30K to 74K range. They also have the Great Lakes Waterfront Trail and the Greenbelt route that go through their region, which are both fully signed routes. There's mountain biking there in the Ganaraska Forest, and there's also the Cult Trail, which is a 450-kilometer bikepacking route that passes through Northumberland and goes up through towards Haliburton and loops back down towards Lake Ontario. Currently, there's over 50 certified bicycle-friendly businesses within Northumberland County. And there's some great views of Coburg Beach, some of the rolling hills you can experience, and the signs that you can follow to lead you around the way, the Trent River trucking route, or as in the top right-hand corner, some beautiful views of Rice Lake. Lennox and Addington is also towards eastern Ontario. The central area, the town that you might recognize if you don't already know the name of this county, is Napanee, and north and a bit south as well. So they have what they call the county trails, which are 12 marked and paved on-road cycling routes. They also have some mountain biking in their Lennox and Addington forests. And they have some great events, which when we talk to cyclists, they all like these events. They're about $35 to participate in, and they sell out quite quickly. The next great ride is the LNA Discovery Ride in September, and they have an annual gravel ride, which just passed in June, as well as their mountain biking ride. So some of the routes, we were just on one route two weekends ago. We did what we called the Cataraqui Kingston Wolf Cruiser. We went up through some trails from Napanee on the Cataraqui Trail down to Kingston on the K&P Trail, then followed the Loyalist Parkway across to Bath and up back to Napanee. And we actually snuck in a day to Wolf Island on that trip as well. So there's some great cycling and things to see in the Lennox and Addington area. And you can find out some more information on our webpage for that area, Southeastern Ontario. Also in that area, and heading further east now is Frontenac County. So a part of Frontenac County is the Wolf Island that we mentioned. Wow, that place is really neat. We really enjoyed taking the free ferry from Kingston. It takes about 20 minutes. It's super bike friendly, the ferry, and you get let off in Marysville, which is the sweetest little town ever. And they have art galleries and cafes and bakeries and little patios for you to sit on before or after your ride, out into the quiet countryside and on gravel roads. You can stop at one of their beach conservation areas and just have a peaceful time exploring. Also, the big flagship trail in Frontenac County is the K&P Trail. That's about 180 kilometers, and it goes from Kingston all the way up to Renfrew in the Ottawa Valley. Speaking of Ottawa, what a great place to cycle that is if you haven't already had a chance. If you liked paved off-road trails, there are over 200 kilometers of those, and there's certainly a lot of attractions and museums and different neighborhoods to stop at when you're cycling all around Ottawa. They do have also in their rural countryside, which is only about 15 minutes from downtown, 16 self-guided bicycle tours. That includes the rural areas and the downtown areas. You can cycle out to Carleton Place on a trail. You can also cycle over into Quebec to the Gatineau Park and back. And they have a really neat app, the cyclingguide.org, which has been established in a few regions like Waterloo, Kitchener, and Sarnia, and now in Ottawa, and it can help you find some of the routes that you're looking for as well as the cycling map. And one of my favorite new pieces of cycling infrastructure in Ottawa is shown at the bottom right, and that's the William Commanda Bridge, a super long pedestrian and cycling bridge that crosses the Ottawa River. Well worth it to cycle that when you're next in Ottawa. Ottawa Valley nearby, they've got a lot of great things happening, especially in the Whitewater region or up near Barry's Bay and Madawaska. There's the Ottawa Valley Recreation Trail, and they're really trying to create a much longer loop. Down in the bottom left side is this building loop that will be using the Cataraqui Trail, the K&P Trail, the Ottawa Valley Recreation Trail, 320 kilometers. Most of the trail is already possible. There's a few detours required over the Calabogie area. There's also the Cycle More route, which has been put together by some avid cyclists, and that's a 200-kilometer loop. So great ways to see different areas, and it's all there for you at the web page listed at the bottom of the page. We really like visiting Simcoe County, so that's just north of the GTA, Barrie, Orillia, Midland. One of our favorite rides to do, and we will be hosting one of our Ontario by Bike rides at the end of August, doing the Simcoe County Loop Trail. So that's a 160-kilometer loop on unpaved trail, and it touches the three major bodies of water, which are just stunningly gorgeous: Georgian Bay, Lake Simcoe, and Lake Couchiching. There's definitely some incredible mountain biking that's going on in Simcoe County. And they have a huge range of routes on their 4 different cycling maps and information at Cycle Simcoe, the website that's dedicated to cycling for that area. Brantford, now heading over towards the western side of the province. That is an incredible place to cycle. It's a real trail hub. Brantford, the city itself, with paved trails that follow the Grand River and just so delightful to ride on. And they extend a little further too. You could ride all the way to Hamilton, Dundas. You could ride all the way down to Port Dover. You could ride up to Cambridge and Paris on those trails that extend out of Brantford. So you can see what I mean by when I say it is a true trail hub there. They have lots of bike parking, some bike repair stations, and lots of other city amenities and services if you want to make use of those and visit Brantford this summer with your bike. We also have an itinerary on our website from one of our past Ontario by Bike rides that is a 2-day ride starting in Hamilton, overnighting in Brantford, and ending in Port Dover. Wow, what a ride that is. It's really something very beautiful area and a great weekend away. Another destination you might want to keep your eyes on because very, very soon the Gordie Howe International Bridge is going to open, and it's the new bridge crossing in Windsor, and it will connect Detroit, Michigan to Windsor, Ontario, and Essex County and the larger area in the southwestern part of Ontario. So what's so neat about this bridge is it's going to be the first international bridge in North America with dedicated cycling infrastructure on it. So there's some little pictures there that you can kind of piece it together a bit. They've also built all new cycling infrastructure leading up to this bridge on both sides of the border. So it's going to be free for cyclists to use. And I personally can't wait to have a ride across the bridge and check out the new setting and have some great views over the Detroit River and to Windsor. So many of you might have already ridden on the Great Lakes Waterfront Trail. It's 3,600 kilometers across Ontario. It's fully signed. It uses a mix of roads, trails, and the best possible cycling infrastructure that's available in those regions. There's some very detailed maps that you can download or have a look at the interactive map at waterfronttrail.org. And it's just a wonderful way to visit provincial parks, different communities, conservation areas, and explore the shorelines of 4 of the Great Lakes and 5 bi-national rivers. What's also great about the Waterfront Trail is that you can use the GO Transit to get to and from many destinations. I personally live in Toronto, and sometimes I ride all the way out to Oshawa, and then I hop on the GO train to take my bike back to the city. So GO trains usually allow 2 bikes per doors and up to 4 bikes per carriage, except for the ones that are not are for disabled use. And you can travel with your bike on GO Transit at any time, as long as it's not during peak rush hour times and peak rush hour directions. So there's more information, of course, that you can look at on the GO Transit website. There's also great connections using GO Transit from the Waterfront Trail to the Greenbelt route, and those are fully signed as well, and you can find information on those at the waterfronttrail.org, as well as information on their coming Farm Fresh tours that celebrate the Greenbelt route and more. So there's a map of the GO Transit train and bus routes. The buses do allow up to 2 bicycles on front, and the trains, the one to Niagara has, between Toronto and Niagara on the weekend, has 2 special bike coaches, which can hold each up to 22 bikes, plus the bikes allowed in the other cars. So significant amount of room for bikes on that weekend type of train. So I know some folks are keen to use Via Rail. with their bikes, and this service has not been possible since 2021 as they have been upgrading their fleet. There has no longer been any baggage cars, so there's no place to put bicycles. Slowly, they have bought on the new trains, and it was just announced very recently, a couple of weeks ago, that they are now taking bikes between Ottawa and Quebec City. For a fee of $25, folks can reserve space for their bikes. We did ask about when they will be able to roll it out to other destinations because we do get a lot of questions between Windsor, Toronto, Montreal route. People want to use that service, and we've been told, quote unquote, they're doing a progressive rollout designed to ensure a smooth passenger experience from day one. So as such, we have no confirmed timelines for them expanding the service, but keep your eyes out for that because that's going to make a one-way trip to one of those destinations on the corridor great and a great option to return using Via Rail. So some other ideas you might want to look at for enjoying cycling getaways this summer or cycling day trips are signing up for some cycling events. So they're a great way to discover a new area. You can just sign up for the event and everything's organized for you. You just show up, maybe you'll meet some new friends as well. And there's all different types of cycling events, and most cycling events have different kilometers routes that you can pick from. If you're looking for events, a great place to look for them and find them on our website, OntarioByBike.ca/events. We have already over 100 cycling events listed, and more are being added as they come available. Something else you might want to consider adding into your bike planning is to visit some of the best bicycle-friendly business award winners. So we have been doing this for, I think this was our 8th year hosting awards, and it's amazing to know what some businesses do for cyclists, how they really go above and beyond serving cyclists and making everybody comfortable, and how they pay back into the cycling community. So you can read more about that and the business award winners this year at the website, and consider visiting some of them and planning to incorporate some of them into your next bike ride. As mentioned, we do host our own Ontario Bike Rides, and you can find out some information at those following websites. Yes, Daryl?
We're just going to have to wrap up so we have some time for the Q&A and the prize draw.
Okay, great. Just got 3 more slides. If you would like some further information, this is our 2026 guide. It's free. We can mail you a copy and you can see it online, and it has a lot of great ride ideas available in French and English. And we hope you stay in touch with us. So please sign up for our e-newsletter. Once a month, we send that out to cyclists. Follow us on social media and make use of our website. Thank you very much for having me here today, and I wish everybody happy tailwinds and some great cycling this summer. Over to you, Dave.
Thank you so much, Louisa. There was a wealth of information there, and I'm certainly looking forward to doing more cycling this summer as well. And I'll just put a plug for York Region. We have some of the best butter tarts out there in Ontario.
Cyclists definitely are motivated by butter tarts.
That's right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Daryl Young from York Region, and just kind of continuing on with the latter half of our presentation. So I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, so the post-webinar questions will be coming up. Please put your questions in the chat. Just let you know that you still have time for Bike Month, the chance to win a $100 gift card. The deadline is Tuesday, July 7th, and log on your bike trips on www.SmartCommute.ca. So, do you have a fitness app? And you can join the SmartCommute.ca app by linking up with your Strava, Under Armour, Garmin, Fitbit, and Polar. Those are all available in the Apple or I guess Google Play Store as well. And the Bike Month webinar recordings will be available on SmartCommute.ca, so please stay tuned. All right, we're going to get ready for the gift card draw. So just a disclaimer, only participants who arrived within the first 20 minutes of the webinar are eligible for a chance to win the webinar gift card. Any late participants are not eligible, and we'll also ask the winner to stay until the end after the Q&A.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel. And we got Orlando Mendoza. Congratulations. I will email you after this webinar for you to win your prize.
Great. Congratulations to Rolando, and thank you, Jesse. All right, let's proceed to the question and answers. So let's look in the chat. What we got here? Due to cycling, curious to find out up-to-date information about the conditions of trails after rainfalls, etc. Do you have any advice on that, Louisa?
It's you won't find that posted anywhere because it changes so rapidly. So I think you would probably just need to use your common sense. If it is an unpaved trail, of course, it's going to take a little longer for the water to drain and the mud to subside or whatever condition that trail might be. Takes longer than paved trails. So, yeah.
Good advice. There's always the weather network as well I keep looking at. Next question from Mary. Has there been any research done on bike parking and how to properly, I guess bike parking will attract more cyclists? Do businesses demand better parking from the municipality, or do they provide their own bike parking like a corral?
There's definitely many different forms of bike parking. So, if you're lucky enough to be in a municipality that installs bike rings or parking, I would encourage people to request that for businesses. Otherwise, sometimes businesses do have to purchase their own bike racks. And we've also seen some great instances where folks have made really neat bike racks that fit with their business. So, for instance, out in Oxford County, a farm made a bike rack that looked like a John Deere tractor, and that added to the looks of things.
Beautiful. This question might have already been answered. Do you know when VIA will return to accommodating bicycles on trains? That was to be determined.
Yeah, I shared with you as much information as we have, and you can go to biketrain.ca, one of our pages where we update as much as we possibly can. They will not tell us anything more, so it's a little challenging sometimes as a government agency that they are. But it's promising now after so many years that Ottawa to Quebec City has opened, so I'm sure the corridor will be next.
Great. Question from Molly. Do you work with motels? Seems like an easy option to roll the bike into the room and charge e-bikes.
Oh, certainly. That there are hotels, motels, that they fall within the same category and can be certified as bicycle friendly.
Great. There's some comments. Okay, and I'm going to go over to the Q&A. I know there's a question there. Could you share, wonderful presentation, could you share any examples of Ontario communities that have significantly enhanced their cycle tourism? Additionally, are there common themes or types of infrastructure improvements that have contributed to their success?
I did mention one area, Simcoe County. I think that they have done a lot to build out cycle tourism. A lot of that has stemmed from the county itself and their tourism board, and really flagging cycle tourism as, an economic development opportunity. And through that, they've been improving the trail system, and they've created this loop trail. Another piece that I think that a lot of regions that are moving ahead are the regions that have a paved shoulder policy. So in those more rural destinations, whenever they're redoing a road, there's a paved shoulder added, and that certainly makes it a lot more comfortable for cyclists. There are some regions that do have that type of policy in place.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Ending on a high note, really appreciate all your expertise to share with the group here. And thank you to everyone who joined the webinar today. It's been very successful. We wish you a very happy rest of the bike month and summer as well. So thank you very much. Till the next time.
Thanks.
Thank you.